Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the He's on Fire podcast. I am one of your hosts tonight, Jay Joyce. You can follow me on Twitter at that handle, or you can just look on the He's on Fire YouTube channel and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, all that stuff. We've been taking a hiatus and stuff. All of us are pretty busy. We're getting prepared for the NBA season that's going to be coming in full swing in just under a few weeks. I'm really excited to see this current Phoenix Suns team just hit the floor. And a week from today is going to be media day, and we get to see the whole team and their uniforms. And there's just a new look of this new Phoenix Suns regime. Before we get any further into this program, Amit, how are you doing? In the last couple of weeks, because we haven't been talking that much.
Yeah, no, it's been a beautiful struggle, man. That's all I can say. Life comes at you hard. But I want to say congrats to Evan, who's not going to be joining us
Yes.
tonight. But Evan, he gave birth to his second child today. So congrats to him and his family. Hopefully we'll hear from him soon and check in on the baby. But yeah, man, I know we wanted to get together last night. It's a bummer we couldn't because I'm still riding high, but I was feeling so good last night.
I know I was too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, yeah, shout out to Coach Evan B. And yeah, it sucks how he couldn't make this show today. I feel like he would love to talk about Arizona Cardinals football, but obviously he has more important things going on right now, and we completely understand. And I can't wait to see that little girl of his, because girls are the best, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. Let's just sum up the last game, and then we'll dive right into this Dallas game. The Giants game, I mean, it was the same story from week one. Like, we had full control going into halftime, and then the Giants flipped a switch in the second half. We couldn't put up any points. We couldn't get any stops, and the Giants sort of won the game in the last minute 30. Very hard fought battle from the Giants. They just outperformed us entirely, and our defense was fucking gassed, and we just couldn't get anything going. There wasn't really much to dissect from that game. For me personally, what about you, Amit?
I mean, look, like we've seen it 3 weeks in a row, really good first halves from this team, offensively and defensively and special teams. And it's hard to take away what happened to the Giants. I felt like I was watching, like it just felt like it was the Giants, and it's like a mid quarterback, and I'm just like I feel like I'm the Patriots in the Super Bowl or something. Like these guys just like go down the field, all of a sudden they're clutch.
Yeah.
We couldn't put together a drive to give the defense some rest, but at the same time, just move the ball down and get some field positioning. Even if we don't score, we couldn't do any of that. I kind of put that on, and as we progress each week, like we got to remember, guys, like we're dealing with a rookie head coach. His coordinators are new, meaning they've been in the NFL, but they're rookie coordinators. So there's like a learning curve here, and this is the thing. Like I thought Dobbs, from what he played in week one. What's up, coach? Uh, what Dobbs has shown every week has gotten better, and I didn't realize he's only been with the team for a month. I mean, I
Yeah.
knew that, but I didn't actually process it until they said it in the broadcast yesterday, and I was like, wow, he's only been with the team with a month, and this is the progress that we've seen so far. I mean, this guy was a top prospect in college, or in high school. He was one of the top quarterbacks, or at least in his in division in the SEC. So I mean, I think things we just got to take it take the learning curves as part of the process here, because yeah, we're not going to win these. We're not going to win every game, but like at least we're seeing some diversity on offense. I mean, that was nice. Like that, from what we did in the Redskins game or Commanders game to what we did in the Giants game was completely different. Like it wasn't like, oh, let's just go to Ertz every time. It was like, okay, let's move the ball around. Let's get Hollywood the ball. Let's try some different run schemes. So I'm seeing progress every week, and I like it, even if we didn't win those games.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And to piggyback on what you were saying, yeah, every week we've just progressively gotten better, and just we're putting up points and getting stops and stuff. Our run defense is significantly better than it was last year. our pass defense too. It seems more sound. Just defense overall just looks really good. That's definitely our strong suit right now, considering everything that's going on right now. The offense is getting just a little bit better every week, and Dobbs is just getting more comfortable every week and stuff. We don't know when Kyler's going to come back, but the more that Dobbs keeps continuing to have these progressive games, I mean, that's longer for Kyler to not feel the pressure of coming back and just taking his time and coming in when he's 100% or he feels like he's 100%. So the more that Dobbs does this, it's going to be huge. And this game, it was going to go one of two ways because we've had the Cowboys number for years at this point. I don't get it, but it just works out that way. But it was either the Cowboys were absolutely going to smack us, and it was going to be kind of like what they did to the Giants in Week 1, or we were going to win this game, like in a lopsided fashion. And I'm glad we chose to receive, or we won the receive. To receive, and then the first play of the game, it was a fake RPO. Dobbs takes it like 35 yards down the sideline, and that set the tone for the rest of the game. And the Cowboys just couldn't do anything, and the penalties absolutely killed them. I think they had 12 or 13 in the first half, which has been the most since like 2011 from I can't remember the fucking team, but that's just an insane amount. And that one play that Micah Parsons got his 30th sack in his career. There's two guys offsides. They didn't call it, but the previous like 4 plays they called like offsides, so that was kind of annoying. But Dobbs was playing the pocket very well. Rondell Moore was utilized like very, very, very good. He had that quick 35, 40-yard touchdown, whatever that was. That was a brilliant play. Hollywood Brown got a little frustrated in the first half because he did get open on a few possessions, but I think he came back down to earth, and eventually he got a touchdown a little later on in the game. But Dobbs is just finding these open guys, and the offensive playbook is just widening more and more by the week. And that's all we've been really asking. And for a team that everybody put down in the basement and didn't give a fuck about, they're really making some noise around the league. And this might be this win over the Cowboys might set the tone for the rest of the season, or it might not. We might go 1-16 for the rest of the season, whatever. But this was a very, very stellar coaching game, time management game, and just offensive and defensive execution, top to bottom, and made the Cowboys look silly. So,
I had some notes, but before we even get into that part, I just wanted to credit the coaching staff with one thing, because this is a drastic contrast to last year. Last year, when we were running the ball and we get a couple runs, and then let's say, we get stuffed in the backfield a couple times, we stop running the ball. Then we start throwing bubble screens and doing all this whack shit, right? They continue to we're just going to give it to Connor. We're going to continue to give it to Keontae Ingram. Like, we're going to let them, we're just going to continue to run the ball, because we do have road graders up front. You got Paris Johnson, Will Hernandez. You have some guys that are really good at run blocking. And they continued. And I loved it because they kept pulling those guys. They were just out in front, getting in this, and they had the third string tight end? Swain was out there blocking. Pascal was out there blocking, setting the edge and whatnot for the running game. So I love that they continue to just stick with the running game. Like, that was really key. I wish they would have done that against the Giants a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, I just continue to do that, because the game was getting in that tenuous point, right, in that third quarter, when I think the Dallas got into one score. They're like, okay, what are we going to do? And they said, we're just going to keep running the ball. And then we'll hit him with that Michael Wilson, miscommunication on the Cowboys defense. And I thought it was just so much better than what we've seen over the last few years in terms of play calling and in terms of like sticking to the players. I had a couple notes on what I saw from this team. So we got a lot of chunk plays. We need those, especially with Dobbs. It was nice to see that. He was going outside of finding Ertz. I think Ertz is washed, bro. Like, I think he's washed.
He keeps on dropping these passes, dude. Like,
I mean, I thought from week 1 he was washed. We kept trying to force feed him in the ball. It wasn't working. I like that we're just getting the ball into space for these guys, and it's in space. Like, Moore's getting in space, Wilson's getting in space, and then we're seeing, from time to time, Dobbs is making those throws. Like the touchdown throw was chef's kiss. Just perfect throws on his back foot, right in the only place that Hollywood could get it. But from the defensive side, for 3 straight weeks, we've seen pressure. They're getting pressure, and it's not one guy. It's multiple guys getting pressure. It's not off blitzing. It's off other stunt packages and things that they're doing. They have different ways to get pressure on the ball. We're winning the turnover battle every game. That's a credit to Dobbs for not turning the ball over, or Connor, who's had, sometimes he has fumble issues. He hasn't turned the ball over. The coverage has been good. I think there was some suspect pass interference calls that we got on us. But then you could say the same for the Cowboys. I mean, those calls are never like, those are so hard to call. I don't know, whatever. But I think overall the coverage is good. I think and when we start talking about the 49ers, there's a troubling trend that I'm seeing with our coverage on tight ends, because we're getting smoked by every team that has a tight end so far this season. And that's been a Cardinals trait going back like 20 years. We just never have anybody that can stop a tight end. Rookies are stepping up. Backups are stepping up. Guys are making plays all over the field. That just tells you about the culture and the coaching staff and their confidence in the players that they put in when they make the calls. And I like that Gannon's like, he's bringing in his guys, right? Like he's trying to create his own culture with. I love Kazir White. Like I was like, who is this guy when he started? And all of a sudden he's all over the field making plays everywhere. And then there's a couple other like I think some practice squad guys that we have, and then a couple other Eagles guys that we have. But overall, I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm just loving what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Kaiser White with the game-winning interception in the red zone. Read Dak like a book, but Dak threw that fucking ball in triple coverage. He was basically asking for it. But Kaiser White,
that's what Dak does, though.
That's what
the thing is, it's what he does. And I kind of thought like the only thing because I never would have expected this outcome from this game. I didn't think we were gonna, because I thought the Cowboys were a tier above us. And what's up, guys? I honestly was like, the only thing I can really expect is to Dak to throw a stupid interception. That's the only thing I can expect him to do. And he did it. But the thing is, now he's progressively getting to the point where he's making those interceptions when the game is on the line for him and his team. And it's like, it's not a good look for him.
Because he played a relatively clean game. And, like, I get it, their offensive line was banged up. But they're a couple tiers, like, ahead of what this Arizona Cardinals team is, just when it comes to a talent perspective and just roster construction. I don't give a fuck about their offensive line. Our whole
defensive line got hurt in the game. We lost Zaven Collins, we lost Ojulari, we lost a few guys in the game, right? So that doesn't matter. Like, throw that out. Plus we don't have Kyler, right? No one's talking about that part of it. We don't even have Kyler for the game. That's expected as we're going into the season, but still, I mean, we're missing a lot of guys too, so I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, and with the expectations that every media outlet has put the Arizona Cardinals, there's no excuse of why Dallas lost this game. And I get the concept of you playing down to your competition, and then they punch you in the face. I 100% get that. But talent alone, they should have won this game, bar none. We totally excluded Micah Parsons out this game until that bullshit sack, and then he didn't really do anything else. We played to our advantages and we played into the Dallas's disadvantages, and that's just really what it came down to. This was a straight coaching effort, and the players came with that same intensity. And Mike McCarthy's a shitty coach. I do not like him. He's not good.
He's not. He's not. And they have Dan Quinn as their defensive coordinator. If you guys remember, that guy, I think he got a couple head coaching jobs, or at least one. I know. He didn't do well. He was that I think he was a defensive coordinator of the Legion of Boom in Seattle, and he hasn't done much since then, to be honest with you. And that tells you a lot about the Legion of Boom versus him as a coordinator. So they have and that's the thing. Dallas has a lot of talent on defense. They have a lot of talent. They lost Trayvon Diggs, but they still got Michael Parsons, Van de Bosch, and some of those other holdover guys, DeMarcus Lawrence. They have high level players that we would definitely covet if we could have them, for sure. But I just, I think this is always the thing with the Cowboys, is they always have talent. They just never put it together the right way. They don't have the right coaching staff. A lot of that's on Jerry Jones. It's just, can you imagine if they had Kyle Shanahan on their team? and they had Ezekiel Elliott. Like, I mean, it just, I don't know, man. It's just the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. I've always hated the Cowboys. I've always remember when I was a kid going into Sun Devil Stadium and seeing half the stadium being Cowboys fans, or growing up in Arizona and like there's like all the fans are either Raiders fans or Cardinals fans, and they're from Phoenix. It just bugged me. So I mean, I
never
love it.
got that
What's your
either.
favorite win over the Cowboys, or favorite let's say favorite play against the Cowboys where we won?
Oh, shit, you gotta honestly. When we were 4-0 with Kyler, I think we're 4-0. Like, we went into Arlington, and we like he just put on a fucking tear. Like,
Christian Kirk over the shoulders
yes, it was
down
that
the
game.
field. Yeah,
Yeah. Like, yeah, it was by the fingertips. Yeah,
yeah,
Kirk caught that. Yeah, that probably recent memory that, but probably this game takes the cake just because
yeah.
like everybody thought we didn't have a dog in the race. I thought our defense alone can kind of keep us in the game, but I mean, stellar performance, stellar. What about you?
Yeah, I think I would say my favorite play going back. This was a few years ago, but there was a play where we won the game by we blocked the punter, broke his foot, picked it up, scored the touchdown, won the game. I think it was in overtime, and that's always been my favorite play because it was such a demoralizing play. I love that play. That's my favorite.
How long ago was that? I don't remember that one.
Keep going. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Okay. Okay. For all the watchers right now, I just pulled up the box score stats for this Cowboys and Cardinals game. Josh Dobbs, 17 of 21 uh, on completion, 189 yards, one TD, 211 sack, and then Dak with 25 of 40, 249 yards, one touchdown, one interception. And then, really, what the story is the rushing attack for both teams. Tony Pollard had 23 carries, 122 yards, which is pretty solid. His longest was 31. And then Dak and Dwaddle had some yards as well. But James Conner had 14 carries, 98 yards. His longest was 26 with the one touchdown. But it seemed like every time James Conner got the ball, it was just taking a little more and more out of Dallas's heart. Josh Dobbs, he had that one carry in the beginning of the game, which was that 44-yard run, but he had 6 carries total, totaling 55 yards. And then Rondell Moore had that 54. He has 54 yards, and then that 45-yard touchdown that he got off that RPO. And then Ingram with his 13 and stuff. Our rushing game really won the game, I feel like, besides our defense, obviously. The rookie, Michael Wilson, had himself a game. He only had 2 receptions, but totaling 86 yards, and that long 69, the one with the blown coverage. That was I can't believe how wide open he was. I have no idea what happened on that play there, but he was
I mean,
wide open.
yeah, well, I rewatched that play, and it was just the safety didn't move. The safety was supposed to. I don't know if he thought he was in zone, or he was in man with the man cover on the other side, but he didn't come over. He was supposed to come over, and he didn't because the corner peeled off, and I think he was expecting the safety to be there, and it wasn't even like a guy fell down. It was just like the safety didn't show up.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Shout out Michael Wilson for he's balling a little bit. He's doing exactly what we needed right now. Marquise Brown, he had himself a pretty decent game too. Of course, he had that one crucial touchdown in the red zone. Then he had 61 yards. But besides that, no fumbles or anything. It was a relatively clean game when it came to turnovers. The only one that really transpired was that interception at the end. But player of the game, Kaiser White, with 14 tackles and one tackle for loss. Stellar game, and he's just been really good since week 1. And then the runner-up, Keitrell Clark, however you say his name, he had 10 tackles, and these tackles were at important times. He was getting cooked for about like 2 minutes in the third quarter, but he regained himself in top of the fourth, and yeah, he really recovered from there. But
He got he
with
got he got beat a couple times. He got a couple
yeah,
pass coverage or pass interference calls on him, but we have to remember he's a sixth round rookie, and he's starting in NFL, and he's making a difference.
right,
Um, so I mean, like if we're getting that, and I said this a couple times, I'm going to say it one more time. Like you can change the entire trajectory of your franchise with a new coach, a new GM, and a really good draft class. And I think we have a really good draft class. It's not going to be like that high level talent. I mean, we'll see with Garrett Williams, and obviously Paris Johnson's a stud already. But and Michael Wilson, he was a third round pick, but he dropped. But like the rest of these guys are stepping up and playing, and they're
yeah,
starting, they're making differences. So if you can do that with that kind of class, on top of like you're sort of like you're rebuilding by sort of dropping a lot of salary with Hopkins and some other guys, and then you have the draft capital that you have going in, and then you have the ability to go out and get free agents. Like this team is going to be solid next year,
yeah,
and
100%, and
Josh
yeah,
is
with the
going to be
draft,
a great backup. Josh is going to be a great
yeah.
backup.
100%. I really like this guy. Like he's so well sounded. Like he sounds like Cam Johnson. Like he's just a
Yeah.
very intellectual person. But yeah, let's just go over the rest of the scores, and we can get into some Phoenix Suns stuff.
Let's do that, and then let's talk about next week's game.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. So Giants Niners. We're going to be playing the Niners next week. Niners took care of the Giants pretty easily. No issue there. Browns beat the Titans pretty handily as well. Deshaun Watson's still not looking all the way there, but hey, he got the win. Man, I think Rondale Moore or Hollywood Brown has more receiving yards than DeAndre Hopkins right now.
Well, they might, but I know one guy who does, which is hilarious. It's Michael Wilson. Michael
Michael
Wilson has
Wilson.
more yards than
Yeah. I think all three might actually.
they might. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Titans are not looking good right now. Falcons, Lions. Yeah, Lions took care of the Falcons there. This was a pretty decent game. Packers versus Saints. Jordan Love looks pretty decent, but with an offensive line like that, you know, that
Yeah,
should help.
I watched the highlights of the first half of that game, and Jordan Love didn't look good. Like I don't know, he didn't look great in the second half. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
Saints kind of choked that game away. I don't know how I feel about Jordan Love. Yeah, I don't know. He's definitely
Yeah.
better than Justin Fields.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Jordan Love, he's very raw. He's been in the league for
Yeah.
like 2-3 years now, and like this is like his first, starting, games and stuff. So I expected to see some rookie shit for him to start. But hey, starting off 2-1,
Not bad.
as a rookie, it's not bad at all. I think Green Bay is very happy with that. Let's talk about this fucking slaughter. The
Okay.
Dolphins versus Broncos, dude. I want to talk about this for a little bit.
I-
Besides the
so
Cardinals, the Dolphins are my fucking team right now.
yeah, they are 100%. Dude, I want to see because I love watching Cheetah, dude. Because if you go and watch his highlights, it's not just his speed. He is actually even though he's short, he's a point of attack receiver. He will go up and take a ball. He is a physical receiver. People don't give him credit for that. You have to go back and watch his highlights with the Chiefs. The dude is a freaking beast, and I love everything about Cheetah. And Tua, I got a rep for Tua because he's the only quarterback in the NFL on any level in the NFL, practice squad, whatever. He's the only left-hander. He's the only left-handed quarterback we got in the NFL. And I remember growing up, we had Steve Young, Mark Brunell. There's a few other guys out there, but there was a lot more lefties than there was now. And I just shout out to Tua, man. Like people gave that guy so much garbage about, he just like everybody catches the gif of him making a bad throw or whatever. But all the concussions that he went through, and to produce like he's doing with the same situation from last year. His coach, rookie coach coming in, had coordinator experience but never been a coach. And look at what their offense is doing.
Yeah.
They may be the greatest offense of all time if they do continue on what they're doing right now. So this guy Devon Chain, I had no idea who this guy was. But he comes out, has 200 yards. I mean, this is Madden on like rookie level.
Like this is a score you do like when uh when you play Madden and you're mad at a team, you know, and you just like run
Yeah,
up the score.
yeah, yeah. This would be me playing like against my 7-year-old son in Madden. Just like, okay,
Exactly. Yeah.
like, oh,
Like
you're gonna do bring the house blitz every play. Okay, cool.
yeah, like this is like your kid was talking shit and you had to show him what's up, you know, that type
Yeah,
of type of game.
I mean,
But yeah, dude, like Russ not looking good, man. And aren't you glad we didn't get Sean Payton now?
I never wanted him. I mean, I did from the perspective of like, okay, he's like an experienced coach versus I'm always weary about these rookie head coaches going back to like
Right.
Josh McDaniels, where you're like, okay, well, he comes from a really good head coach, right? Is he good himself? Or is he built up from the guy underneath him? You see that all across the league. I mean, if you look at the Bears, they've continuously got these guys. If you look at the Packers coach, Matt LaFleur, like there's so many of them that you're like, are these guys going to be good for more than 1 year? Because they'll be a flash in the pan, give you signs of 1 year and then not, right? So I kind of wanted Sean Payton for that chance to get away from. I guess it was a lot of it was a reaction to Cliff Kingsbury. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I just want a guy with experience, dude. I want somebody that's like actually coached in the NFL, coached in the Super Bowl, coaching multiple Super Bowls, I think, right? Or no, they only played in that one. But either way, played in a lot of NFC Championship games, a lot of important games, versus like a guy who never coached in the NFL before, right? Like that's where,
Another Bruce
but that's the
Arians,
difference,
really.
right? Like,
Yeah.
what's that?
And like another Bruce Arians, you know, that's what I was
Yeah,
sort of gunning
ex-
for. Yeah.
right, exactly, exactly. So yeah, I mean, whatever he's doing there, I mean, he got paid a ton of money, so they can't move off of his deal. I think he signed like an 8-year contract. And they gave Russell Williams. Well, I don't know how many years they gave Russ, but I mean, they're kind of stuck with that now. And honestly, if I'm looking at their roster and I'm the Cardinals and I got some picks, I'm like, I'm looking at some of those defensive players they got. I'm looking at some of those receivers they got. Be like, what can
Yeah.
I do to get some of those guys?
Right. Yeah,
Because
dude.
they have to tank. They have to tank, right?
They kind of have to now. They kind of have to now. But yeah, dude, the offense just put on a fucking clinic. Tua 25 to 26, 309 yards, 4 TDs. Freaking where's Devon Achani, 203 yards, two TDs. Tyreek Hill, 9 receptions, 157 yards, 1 TD. His longest was 54, 11 targets. And did you see that one celebration Tyreek Hill had when he went into the crowd and he started, celebrating
Dude,
with the crowd?
they had
It's
literally 10
hilarious.
celebrations. I didn't even see all of them. I couldn't even see them. They had one where they were lining up and doing some weird stuff. Um, that Robbie Chosen one, that's a funny one because that was Mike White at the end of the game. He threw a 60-yard touchdown. People were saying these guys were piling it on. It's just like, what do you expect them to do? Like he's the backup quarterback. That's why I don't understand when the people are saying the Cardinals are tanking. How can you, if you put in a backup player, like if you put in a sub player, remember Pat Burke, any of the older sons, but Eddie House, these guys would come in blowouts. What did they do? They started jacking the ball up. Why? Because that's the only way they ever see the ball. Same
Right.
with Mike White. Same with these backup receivers. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to jack up the score. They're going to try to win even more. I mean, it's just how it works. Like, should they be taking just running the ball? I mean, you could. I suppose you could do that. The guy had 200 yards. His backup had another 90 yards, so you could do that. It'd probably be another touchdown, anyways.
Yeah, like yeah, when the backup came in and he was throwing dots too, that was something. But yeah, let's look at the rest of these scores quickly. I totally just backed out of it. Um, so all right, I don't know if you caught this Chargers Vikings game. Holy fuck, dude! This game was ridiculous. Minnesota, they kind of just choked it away. Brandon Staley almost choked away this game too because they went for it on fourth in like their own like 30, and then there was a turnover on downs, and then Minnesota only ended up kicking like a field goal or something. Oh no, it wasn't. It was that interception in the red zone that kind of
in the
sealed
end
the
zone.
game.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
play. Yeah, these are the two teams that would do that kind of game. Like are the two
exactly.
teams that would be like, oh, I can almost win the game. I'll go ahead and win it, and then I'll go ahead and lose it for you at the same time. Like that's perfect. Just two of those two teams to play each other. I think the Vikings are done. I think they got to start looking about what they want to do with Kirk Cousins. He is not the long term solution for them. Um, I heard through some other podcasts and stuff that the Jets should start looking at Kirk Cousins because
That would be
obviously
cool.
there's Zach Wilson is complete garbage. Um, I don't think it can work because he has I think he has a no trade clause or something. So I don't
Hmm.
know. They'd have to sign him to an extension, which they wouldn't do because they have Rodgers. So I don't know, but I think the Vikings are a free fall at this point, and they got to do whatever they can to keep Justin Jefferson happy.
Yeah, and I think Justin Jefferson might split to Arizona. I have a feeling that yeah, he
Ooh,
could be a Cardinal in the future. So,
I would love
but
that.
I know Justin Jefferson, Hollywood Brown, and then we got Rondale there too. And then if Trey McBride continues to get better and better, and then we have Michael Wilson too. I'm really liking that receiving core. It's
Yeah,
pretty decent. Yeah.
that's really good. It's one of the best. Yeah.
Going to Patriots and Jets. Of course, Billy Belichick takes care of the Jets. Zach Wilson's ass. Bills take care
Well,
of the
see,
Commanders.
real quick. Go back to that because so if the Patriots they were supposed to have this elite defense, which
Yeah.
maybe they do, but they played Zach Wilson. It just tells me like at this point, like how much better is Mac Jones than Zach Wilson? I think there's probably like 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league where I go, are you seriously going to continue to start this guy? Like Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. Those are three
Hmm.
right there. Ryan Tannehill is close. He's there too almost. Those 4 guys, like, are you really going to tell me? Because if you're telling me the Cardinals are tanking with Josh Dobbs, and you're starting those 4 guys, how are you not tanking that?
Right. Yeah. Like Mac Jones, I would put a couple tiers above Zach Wilson, but like Mac Jones is pretty ass. Like I'm not crazy about Mac Jones at all. Really, this was a battle of mid. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
And granted, the Jets have a good defense, so you have to give them credit on that.
they
They do have a stellar
yeah
defense.
yeah like it's a shame that Aaron Rodgers went down. Man, I was really excited to see this Jets team, but we have to watch fucking Zach Wilson. Bills take care of the Commanders, 37-3. And then surprisingly, Texans wash the Jaguars. I didn't catch this game. I was really surprised about the score. The Texans are supposed to be shit, but CJ Stroud had a really, really good game. But shout out to them, but they better lose the next, 12
And,
so we can get that
and
pick.
going back to them, D'Amico Ryan's the defensive coordinator from the Niners is their head coach. D'Amico
Yep.
Ryan's I think he was previously a linebacker on the Texans.
Yep.
He was one of my fantasy guys that I used to draft for defensive players. I mean, just same thing, man. You change the culture. It doesn't mean it's because your roster sucks doesn't mean that your team is going to be that bad. I mean, they're competitive.
Hmm. Yeah, like I'm a big fan of D'Amico Ryan's, and I thought that was a great hire for the Texans. And considering he had history there to begin with, I thought it would be a very good, culture shift for them. Considering Bill O'Brien's fucking tenure there, and then
Yeah,
the previous years, like they
and
needed a
and
guy like D'Amico to come in.
and they won with a backup too, right? CJ Stroud didn't even play in that game.
Um, I think you might be thinking of Bryce Young because I
Or
don't think
Bryce, sorry,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. No,
Yeah,
CJ
yes,
Stroud. Yeah. Okay, so he played.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. Bryce Young
yeah,
was the one that got hurt. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought I was tripping at first. Yeah, for some reason, I get them confused all the time.
Yeah, me too.
But yes, I shout out CJ and D'Amico. Colts took care of the Ravens. Uh,
That was a
pretty,
travesty. The Ravens got absolutely
yeah,
robbed in that game. There
yeah,
was a pass interference call in overtime. It was overtime, and then there was something else that happened. There was 2 plays where they got completely screwed when it was like so obvious to everybody watching the game that a penalty should have been called. So I think one happened at the end of the fourth quarter. Yeah, one happened on 4th down. That was the pass interference play to extend the drive, and then another one on another play. But but Justin Tucker missing kicks is, I mean, that's rough. Like, he's supposed to be the
Yeah,
GOAT. So
you
if
can't
you're
be
going to get
missing.
those two things and him missing a kick, and then the other kicker is like all of a sudden Adam Vinatieri, then it's going to happen to you.
Right. Yeah. Justin Tucker missing kicks. You might as well wrap up the
Yeah.
game at that point.
And just to be
Um,
clarified, I know that Adam Vinatieri is not the Colts kicker. I'm just saying he's one of the GOAT kickers, and whoever their kicker is showed up with GOAT status in that game.
right. Matt Gay, was it Matt Gay drills a
Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
53-yard game? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, shout out Prater too for hitting that 62-yarder. I thought
dude.
that shit was short, but it went in, dude.
I thought he missed the extra point on the first touchdown. Did you see that?
Yeah, it went like so over that I didn't think it went
Yeah.
in, but yeah.
I mean, they counted it. I didn't think he made it, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I saw some fucking Cowboys fans saying like, "Oh man, they're cheating us," and they showed that clip, and I'm like, it definitely looks like it didn't go in, but I saw some people at the game record that field goal, and it went right through the uprights. It was just so high that it didn't look like it went in. So
yeah,
and plus they got earpieces in, and they're not just like looking to see if it went in. They have people that were looking right at the. Yeah,
of course.
So it's.
Yeah, and that wouldn't have changed the game. Sorry, guys, that wouldn't have changed the game for y'all. That wouldn't have changed the game.
Yeah, it wouldn't at all. The Seahawks, Panthers. Yeah, this is the one that Bryce Young didn't play in. Seahawks took care of business. They're up 2-1 in the record, and the Chiefs, Bears. The Swifties came up in this one. Very crazy sort of game with this, and yeah, Justin Fields is ass, man. I hate to see it. Another Ohio State quarterback not panning out just doesn't look good.
I mean,
Dan
shout out to
Shane.
Is JV in the chat? I feel bad for JV, man. I know he's like a diehard Bears fan, and
Yeah,
it's rough for him. I have a lot of, my wife's from Chicago. I have a lot of Bears fans in my life, and I actually feel really bad for them
I do
because
too.
this is bad. This is bad. The ownership is terrible for them, and it's never going to change. So it's just they continue to go down this road. So
Yeah, it sucks. I feel bad for was it DJ Moore
yeah,
and the rest of their receiving core. The offensive line is terrible. The defense works so hard, but they just can't get any stops. And when you're going against the Chiefs, I mean, there's only so much you can do. So, um, Justin Fields, I mean, he's probably a good kid. Like, I think him and I are relatively the same age. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, you hate to see it, but maybe a different organization will be better for him. But I don't see him being a franchise QB. I just don't.
I
It's
don't
just
see it
not
either.
there.
I think he's going to struggle to stay on rosters as like a third string or a practice squad player. I mean, I just don't see it with him. He's just not seeing the field, and it happens. Like, it happens. I mean, a lot of people that make these drafts don't know what they're doing, and that's
Mhm.
why when you get a guy like Kyler, and he's already proven in NFL. Like, I mean, I can give you so many plays where no other quarterback can make that play. Or there's very few guys that can take you when you're 20-0 down against the Raiders, come back and win the game with multiple throws in the end zone just on his arm alone. And
Right.
then the Hail Mary play. His first game as a Cardinal, leading us to overtime against the overtime, or we lost that game against the Lions. Like, he
Mhm.
just has it. And when you like, even no matter what Caleb Williams is projected to be, we haven't seen him step on the NFL field. We don't even know if he'll be healthy. Knock on wood, nothing happens to him. But you know what you have with Kyler. Like, you already know it. Like, why would like, yeah, it's great to be able to. That's why I don't understand a lot of when in NBA where they trade, or in baseball when they trade prospects to get another prospect. When you
Mhm.
have somebody up and coming, like, why would you do that? You already know what you got with the guy. Why would you do that? So I just, it happens in NFL where these quarterbacks get drafted really high, the expectations high, they don't pan out, and no one will touch them after that. And it sucks for them. It sucks for them. Happened to Josh Rosen, and with us, it happened with a lot of guys, and they make a lot of money, so I don't feel too bad for them off the rookie
Yeah.
deal.
if we continue to play this well and we progress every week in some sort of facet, um, I saw this TikTok earlier of this sports guy. I forget his name. I'll post it on my Twitter. Go follow me there. He's just a really smart guy, and it's like he's very well rounded when it comes to just everything sports. But he was saying he was commenting on somebody's tweet that was saying like the Cardinals shouldn't be taking for Caleb Williams. They obviously have enough talent to kind of push him over the edge a little bit, and they have they're just in an interesting position when it comes to this upcoming offseason. And with the amount of pick and draft capital that we have in this draft that's coming in the offseason, and then the next few years and stuff, we can really build upon this team. And with Kyler being our franchise QB, we come from sort of a really sort of good position to be in because we can trade back, acquire more picks, and acquire more talent, and we can give. Oh,
No, I was gonna just say, sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say, I'm just googling one thing real quick.
yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
I was just saying, like exactly what you said. Like we know what we have with Kyler Murray. We knew that he just needed a healthy and well-rounded offensive line, and he can kind of figure everything else out from there. Yeah, Kyler's small. Yeah, like he can make some stupid decisions sometimes, but Kyler, like he's a franchise quarterback, and when you're a rebuilding team, usually the first step is to find a franchise QB, and we already have that taken care of. So putting pieces around Kyler and building up this defense is all we really need to do. And I feel like we've already hit on a few different parameters, and especially in this previous offseason, we picked up Gannon, we picked up Drew Petzing, and we just built together this coaching staff that seems very well put together and very smart, and they know what strings to pull to keep us in games and stuff. And we've seen that in 3 straight weeks. And we're Kyler Murray away from being 3-0 right now. So,
yeah. So I was gonna say, you can make an argument to me that you would want to trade off Kyler Murray to go with Caleb Williams to start with the rookie on his rookie scale contract and build a roster the way that like Jalen Hurts is, or some of these other rookie players are. My counterpoint to that is, and I just looked it up, who's the youngest player to win that Super Bowl was Ben Roethlisberger when he was like 23, right? If you go back and look at his team, it was that team. He came into a team that was like Hall of Famers all over the field.
Yeah.
Like, so if we like, I don't see a bunch of Hall of Famers all over the field for us, right? I mean, I see some talented players, but I don't see Hall of Famers. So, and you saw the Eagles last year on Jalen Hurts with a really stacked defensive team with some guys with all pro players, depth at every position. They still couldn't beat the Chiefs. Like, so I'd have to really go and evaluate Caleb Williams's his highlights and his practices, his draft combine stuff when he gets there and all that stuff to be like, is he actually more elite than Kyler? For me to make that decision. But I can understand that point that if you said we could build a better roster if we move Kyler, but the next point is how do you move him? Because he has a lot of guaranteed money, so you can't cut him. You have to find a trade partner to do that. You may have to give up picks out of your draft capital to make that happen too, right? Considering the money, and then you'd have to take some stuff back too. So it's not going to be just that's like, oh, we just dump him and then that's it. So I just want to make that point.
Yeah, no, you're right on the money with that. Like to trade Kyler, but we're still paying his guaranteed money, which is a lot of money to eat. And then the draft capital that we built up just to send back out is pretty stupid. So, like, it's easy for us to say that we're tanking for, like the clicks and when we get like blown out or when we lose, because it's easy because no one really gave us a horse in the race. It gets us to the next week. But this team is a lot better than what people are making it out to be, and they just proved it. And when Kyler comes back, we can really see what this team's potential is going into the next offseason and what we really need to hit on, because Will Hernandez has been great. Paris Johnson has been great. Even Humphreys, he's been pretty decent as well.
Yeah.
And he's had a little bit of a resurgence because the last 2 seasons he just hasn't been that good,
Yeah.
but he's been pretty good these last 3 weeks. So this offensive line is looking probably the best I kind of seen or will see uh, since he's been in the league. So I'm really looking forward to when he is here, and I'm guessing week 5 after he's clear from PUP. But yeah, just quickly we'll go over the Monday night games or Steelers Raiders. That was an upsetting game. Jimmy G's in concussion protocol now. What is it? 2 weeks out or something? Is that 2 weeks?
Yeah, I guess, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I just I don't know how to judge the Raiders or the Steelers because I just their quarterbacks are like they're just kind of they show flashes of being somewhat decent when they have talent around them, but then they can't really like carry it. And that's the whole Kyler thing. Like Kyler can carry you without talent. Like he can make
Yeah.
things happen without talent around him. So like I don't know, man. I just don't know how to judge those teams. I was really when I after the Cardinals game, I'm like, oh, I want to watch more football. What's the next game? And I'm like, oh, it's gonna be Steelers and Raiders. Like that's gonna be I didn't even turn it on. I didn't even check the score. I didn't even care. Yeah.
And then the 2 games tonight, Eagles Buccaneers. Obviously, the Eagles won this, but not by a big margin. But then the Rams and Bengals. This was a pretty decent game, and the Bengals ended up pulling out towards the end. And I was really surprised that they played Joe Burrow in this one, but they kind of needed him to play too because they would have been down 0-3 if he didn't play. So yeah, so that sums up week 3. And then with the Arizona Cardinals, they are facing the 49ers, like we mentioned. God, I'm spacing here.
It's
And
gonna be on the road.
On the road, yeah.
Yeah.
We're probably going to get smacked, which I'm totally okay with, quite honestly. To be quite honest, I should say. 1:25 p.m. kickoff. Yeah, we're probably going to get smacked. What are your thoughts?
Well, this is where I think I've heard a lot of people like if you go on Twitter, you hear the podcast, you see what people are saying about how we're underrated or whatever. Josh Dobbs looks really good. Josh Dobbs, this is the game where there's going to be some turnovers. There's going to be some mistakes. I mentioned the tight end situation, troubling trend that we cannot guard tight ends this season. George Kittle, one of the most elite ones there, is going to smoke us. They're going to do, and here's the other thing. Actually, I didn't even mention this. We had really poor tackling against the Cowboys. We had really good positioning on plays where we had them for a loss or we had them for a short gain and it turned into first downs. Whether it was a running back, Dak Prescott, a couple of the wide receivers on like short, like bubble screens and stuff, like we had them. So you're talking about a team in the Niners that relies on yards after the catch because their quarterback really can't throw the ball far. So tackling is going to be really important in this game. So they're going to have to show a major improvement from what they did last week in sort of tackling in the backfield against these receivers. And we're talking about guys that are way more physical than what the Cowboys got. Deebo Samuel is a beast. So you're going to have to tackle him. You're going to have to find a way to, corral McCaffrey. So I feel like it's going to be tough. Like I think the line is, I don't know what the line is right now. Is it just show the line?
No.
I mean, I'm sure it's like probably like 12.5 or something like that, like the way the Cowboys team was. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. I don't think we're going to win this game, but I hope that we can make it respectable. That's all I can say. We're talking about one of the best teams in football.
Yeah, this is probably the Niners are probably the best team in the NFC right now. I'm not crazy about the Eagles. I'll probably put the Eagles second, Dallas at third, and then Niners at first. Brock Purdy, he's probably one of the best system guys, quarterbacks we've seen in the last couple of years. He's just very there between the years and stuff. um, the the biggest key that we can really focus on is the run game or stopping the run game. Christian McCaffrey, he's a fucking demon. And if we can limit their rushing, they don't really have much outside of that when it comes to the run game. So if we can uh, really put a stake in, like in the running attack, we can really limit their offense. And along with that, if we can put pressure on Brock Purdy and have him feel flustered and have him throw on the run, we might have a chance to keep this game pretty competitive. Those are the two things I'm really looking for on the defensive side of things. On the offense, I don't want to play conservative. I want to be pretty aggressive like we were in the Cowboys game. I think we can really translate that offensive game into this. But on defense, with the Niners, they just have so many guys to ruin
Yeah,
our day.
yeah,
And I'm not counting on us having a good offensive game. I hope it's a clean game. I hope we come out of this, healthy and stuff. I don't want to see James Conner get hurt or anything like that, of course. And I would hate to see Josh Dobbs get, ransacked by Armstead or something, and like he has like a dislocated shoulder or some shit. So I just want to get through this game healthy and just all that because I feel like this game is going to be really rough. But if we
yeah,
can stop the run game, have Purdy feel pretty flustered, which our defensive line has been doing the last 3 weeks, and if we can actually, target Kittle and stuff and make his day long, I think we can be all right. It's mostly going to be attacking those three guys, and there's nothing much you can do with Debo and Brandon Ayuk. They're just going to do whatever happens. They're playmakers, and they can make
yeah.
something out of nothing. So there's only so much you can do with that. But um, all right, Brandon Ayuk and Debo are questionable, but I feel like they're going to play. I don't know Greenlaw or Ambry Thomas, but
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like they're gonna play. Like their team is gonna play.
yeah,
You know, it's it's gonna be rough. I'm just not gonna lie. It's gonna be rough. Like they are they are working on. Kyle Shanahan's been there. I don't know how many years he's been there. Like 3, 4 years now. Um, Former member. I like that. My son wants me to cut it off. My daughter asked me to cut it off too, but I just I haven't cut it off. Yeah, I just they have a system that works, and I don't like. And I think with the 49ers, what's going to happen with them is that we saw it last year. I mean, once we never got to see really Brock Purdy play in the playoffs because he got hurt at the end there, but
yeah,
we would see the wheels fall off because at some point you're going to have to make throws down the field. At some point you're going to have to scramble around and be able to make plays, and he's just not that dude. At least he hasn't been able to do it in like really clutch situations for them. So the team is really good, it's solid, but you can only go as far as your quarterback, and at some point you're going to need your quarterback to take you on a 2-minute drive to win the game. And is
yeah,
he the guy to do that? I don't think he is.
yeah. I can get on board with that. Just the Niners are really scary right now, and
Yeah,
they're
it's just a matter of is any game going
yeah,
to be close enough to be, where you have the opportunity to do that, right, against them. That's
right,
that's the scary part.
right. And Gannon, he actually has a pretty good track record when it comes to going against Kyle Shanahan, and maybe that plays in our favor too. But we'll see what Kaiser White and the rest of the defensive line and secondary can do, because that's really what's going to determine this game is who has the best defense. I feel like, and if Prater keeps on hitting his 60 yarders, we might win this by an inch.
Yeah,
But yeah, that kind of wraps up the week 3 recap for the Arizona Cardinals. And week 4, we will be going against the 49ers, and we'll be back next week to talk about that game, win or loss, hopefully. Let's quickly talk about this Phoenix Suns stuff that's been happening the last few days, and then we'll get out of here. So the last few days, there's been some murmurs around the league and with local reporters here, like Flex from Jersey. He's on PHNX. Shout out to Flex and Gerald Bourget as well has also coined the reporting a little. Before I kind of seen national attention about it, is Toronto being sort of the front runners in the Damian Lillard uh, trade acquisition talks and stuff, which is pretty interesting because right when you hear about Toronto, you think about the 2019 run when they picked up Kawhi on his 1 year rental. This is sort of the same thing, but it wouldn't be on a rental. This is like Damian Lillard playing for a year, and if he wants to bounce, like he would just put in another trade request. So I've been trying to wrap my head around this because Flex and Gerald said that we can be in the mix to facilitate this trade that makes push this forward. Um, and the name that's been brought up with us putting out is DeAndre Ayton, and I just want to show what PHNX sort of laid out. So the Suns would receive OG Anunoby from the Toronto Raptors, and then Yusuf Nurkic from Portland. And then Portland will receive DeAndre Ayton, Gary Trent Jr., Grady Dick, Thad Young, 2028 first round pick, a 2030 first round pick, and a top 3 protected. And then the Raptors would receive Damian Lillard and Jabari Walker. What are your thoughts about all this talk, and what do you think about this proposition here?
First of all, we're so close to starting training camp that there's no way the Suns are going to trade. It just doesn't make any sense to me. After him doing all these practices, after Frank Vogel saying all these things about him, after the way that they've sort of like tried to repair the damage that had been done with Monty Williams with him, there's no way they do this. This is all to me. This is like, Flex is our dude. We had him on the pod. If you haven't heard that pod, you should go back. It was back in the summer we had him on, just talking hoops and Suns and some other stuff. Yeah, one of our best pods. But I love Flex, but I think if he's not saying everything, but what I think I understand here is that we be the facilitator in terms of either taking on like draft picks or something of that nature. I don't think we can't change the roster this much and then go into the season and be like, okay, we're ready to go win a championship. Like, it's just too much change. It's way too much change. New coach, like, it's just too much stuff happening. It doesn't make sense. Nurkic, is he ever healthy? Want that guy? OG Anunoby, yeah, he's great, but he overlaps with too many other players that we have on his team. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. For the Trailblazers, hell yeah, do that for them. Look what they get. That makes a lot of sense for 100%. Them. For the Raptors, I'm looking at what's that?
Oh, 100%. If I'm Portland, I'm doing that.
Yeah, if I'm the Raptors, if you're doing this without giving up Scotty Barnes, yeah, but what do you have left? Even if you have Scotty Barnes left, you don't have a lot. You kind of need OG Anunoby if you're going to get Damian Lillard. Like, those two guys, you need a big, right? I mean, I guess you're keeping Siakam, but he's not the kind of. I'd rather own an Anunoby and Lillard than like Siakam and Lillard. So they also have I mean, I don't know, man. I think everybody's just bored. Oh, they have Pirtle too. You're correct. Yeah, that's fine. But he doesn't run that high pick and roll. He doesn't run the high pick and roll that they need. So I don't know. Like, I just, it's a lot of talk. It's fine. Like, include the Suns. We're always seems to be in a lot of conversations about things. The other thing that stood out to me is, like, didn't they already say that Damian Lillard, wherever he goes, if it's not the Heat, he's going to ask for a trade? So does it even matter? Like, with all this stuff, like, does it even matter?
Yeah, it's just interesting because, like, when Toronto did this with Kawhi, and Kawhi was outspoken, like, he didn't want to go to Toronto, and, like, he wasn't going to stay, and they still went ahead and pulled the trigger, and they knew that he wasn't going to stay, but that Toronto team was, like, loaded, and then it was a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah.
And it was DeMar for Kawhi, and it's crazy how that was even, but it like it was. So, um,
Yeah.
when I first saw this, I would be more okay with this trade if we heard about it 2 months ago.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yes. Fine.
yeah. Like obviously, like dumping DA that does help when it comes to cap situation, and you're splitting that 30 million with between OG and Nurkic, 15 apiece, which is definitely easier to trade and manipulate, down the line. I get it from a cap perspective, that helps out a lot more, and you're not dealing with another max contract. I really like OG Anunoby. Great defender, good 3-and-D guy. Averaged almost 17 points a game for the Raptors the last season. I know he doesn't want to be there. He's been outspoken that he doesn't want to be a Raptor anymore. So this makes this story a little juicier. But as of right now, with Media Day being a week from today and making a change like this, especially with Nurkic talking shit about the Suns, you know, just throughout the years,
What did he
it's
say?
definitely. Well, like when we got Bradley Beal, he said like, "Oh, it's just Brooklyn all over again," and then
Oh,
just like throughout the years, he's just like, "Oh, the Suns," stay out of my yard type shit. Like he hasn't been crazy
yeah.
about Phoenix. Nurkic, he's a fine center. Obviously, he's not DeAndre Ayton. If it was a 1-for-1 trade, I would say absolutely not. But it's the OG Anunoby piece that makes this juicy for us. If we heard this trade proposition 2 months ago, I would be really okay with it, and I would be okay with sending DeAndre Ayton now. But just the fact that media day is a week away, preseason being what, like 2.5, 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but it's right around the corner. Um, it just I just think it's a little much. Obviously, I would love OG on this team, and I think Nurkic will be fine in this roster. And at the end of the day, like when we're looking at the center position, we need a guy that's going to rim roll hard, set picks hard, rebound, and play really good rim protection and defense. And that's all we really need. We don't really need a scoring punch. And I think Nurkic can do that 100%. But yeah, is he going to be healthy? I don't think he's played over 45 games in the last 4 seasons, I believe. I like again. I don't have a problem with Nurkic. I think he's fine, but I just this is just a little much for my liking. And Matt Ishima sees this like this is definitely a good return, and this will probably help with finances later. But I just don't want to ruffle the feathers a week before media day, kind of change things around.
Yeah.
I don't want to piss off DA going into the season because that's what it was, you know, like last season after the Dallas loss. So it was just
Yeah.
if I was the Blazers, I would absolutely take this, like no question. That's a great return. And then with the Raptors, Jabari Parker is just sort of a throw-in. But again, like the Raptors would do this, but I don't know. I like if from a Phoenix Suns perspective, this is a nice return. I'm just not. I feel like we're good right now. I don't think we need to do
Yeah.
anything
I,
else.
I wouldn't touch anything. I wouldn't touch anything. And honestly, like, um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, it's too close. Like you said, it's too everything's too close. But and I also mentioned before, like Dame has said he wants to go to Miami. So this trade doesn't make any sense. I feel like it's a lot of talk. Um, we're good, man. The team is good. Like we don't need to make any more changes right now. Let's just go with what we got and see what happens. And that's now I remember what I was gonna say. Da, you can trade him. You can always trade him. But let's wait till 2024, closer to the deadline. See if is he really bought in to what we need from him to being the defensive anchor, getting less touches, as an offensive player, how he fits as kind of like a super role player. If he's not bought in, then we can make a trade. Then that's fine. We could do something at that point. But we gotta see how this team works together.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. Just Yeah, like it's just a little much for me. It is a good return, but we'll see at the deadline because the DA is still not panning out. I feel like a team is gonna want DeAndre Ayton, and if
Yeah.
Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal weren't sold on DeAndre Ayton going into this season, I feel like DA would have been traded by now.
Yeah.
So I think what we saw, the VA that we saw during the FIBA tournament, I hope that translates back over here because he was great in that FIBA series with Eric Gordon and stuff.
Yeah.
And if we can get his Buddy Hield over here somehow, some way,
Yeah.
I'll take that over getting OG Anunoby. Honestly, I think it'll save us
Yeah.
some coin at the end of the day. So,
Did you get the
final
link?
thoughts?
Did you did you get the link that I sent you
Oh
in
yeah,
the stream? So you asked me
yeah.
about that play. Just pull that up. We can we show it?
Oh yeah, I got you right now. Hang on.
Yeah, let's just it's like the first 10 seconds. That's all you really need to see. This is what
Can't
I was
believe you
saying
found
when I
it.
was talking about the Cowboys, my favorite play when we won. And now I remember because Steve Bress was returning punts, and I must have been like 2013 or 2012, somewhere around that time frame.
Matt
Steve
McBriar's been
Bledsoe.
great all day. The punter for Dallas will.
Not right now.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh
He
my
broke the punter
god.
broke his foot on that play. We won in overtime. That was the game.
God. Oh man, Doucette, Hightower.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So this
Good
is like,
times there.
early 2010. So just wanted to follow that up because that was a yeah.
Are they gonna show like a replay? I gotta see this. That was a
Yeah, they
nasty
probably
play.
yeah.
Guys, that Bidwell? God, he's young in that.
Yeah.
He's running, he's running. God, what a play. Jesus.
Destroyed that guy.
Oh man. I feel bad for him. That's awful.
Yeah, shout out to that punter, man. He was having a great day until that moment.
He was probably good. He was probably like, man, this is probably my last kick of the day. Oh man.
I mean, it was
Oh,
dude.
that's awful. That's awful. I've never seen this before. Man, what a play
Yeah.
though. That's a game-winning play right there. That's
Yeah.
that's dope.
Yeah.
Man, that's awful. But any closing thoughts before we bounce out of here?
Yeah, I mean, look, man, like the Cardinals, our talent isn't there because they stripped it down to get sort of rebuild this team. I understand that people think that maybe we need to make a change at quarterback. I just say, look, man, a lot of teams make changes at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets. They made that change. That didn't work out. Or at least it's not working out, right? So, like sometimes, like you have something really good in front of you, and you got to stick with that. Um, I just say, dude, this team's not taking. This team is definitely not taking.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what you said, this team is a lot better than what people anticipated. I had that feeling going into the season, but I'm usually the optimistic guy on this podcast. I can kind of see the glass half full most of the time, but we're a Kyler away from being 3-0. Not to say that Dobbs hasn't been good. It's a completely different team than what we saw last season. There's a lot of bright spots on this team. I'm really excited to see this team when Kyler comes around, and I'm very happy that Dobbs is on this team because he's a very smart dude and he's very funny. Follow his TikTok; he's hilarious. And yeah, I'm really excited to see this Arizona Cardinals team throughout the rest of the season, and I'm really excited for this offseason too because I feel like this is going to be the offseason to really propel us forward or set us another 5 years back. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to when we have those conversations in the offseason. But with Phoenix Suns stuff, I can't wait to see this fucking team lace up. I'm going to the opening night game against the Jazz. No easier opponent than the Jazz. I feel like at this point, hopefully we win that game. But it's Golden State, then the Lakers, and then the Jazz. So we have to wait a little bit before they open up at home. But I can't wait to see this team lace up. I'm totally fine with DeAndre Ayton staying on this team. I really want to see him under a new coaching staff, and I want to see what Vogel can do with DeAndre Ayton. And I'm gonna get the Booker shoes whenever they're available. And yeah, I just can't wait, and I can't wait to see just everybody on media day because we still haven't seen a ton of Yuta Watanabe. We haven't seen Chimezi Metu. Yeah, he's been working out with Bobo. Bobo's been looking. He's been working out a ton, just like Kevin Durant as well. And I'm just really excited to see this team lace up and all. But yeah, I just can't wait. You got tickets too, October 10th. I might hit up a preseason game. I might. That might be cool. I still need to get one of the newer jerseys. Either I'll probably get the white, honestly. The new white icon jersey. Would that be the one you get?
I'm not a big fan of that one. That one's all right. I mean, right now, I still need to get a Valley jersey. If I had a jersey that I need to cop, I want to get the Valley one. Yeah.
Mitchell and Ness needs to do like a re-release on that or something because it was impossible to get at the time if you didn't go to a game, and then the online drops were just stupid. So that's the one that I really miss. I mean, I filled out the back a bit. I mean, I got a Durant purple sunburst. That's more of a display one. I'm gonna get another one to wear. Then I got a statement one, but I need a Valley one. I need the Western Suns and shit. So
I got my Booker Valley sunburst jersey. But I
need a Booker one.
I'm thinking I might go. I got a guy who's got really good tickets for. He's got season tickets for the Lakers for the last 15 years, so they're still expensive. They're like $500, but they're like behind the bench, the visitors bench, right? So I was like, oh, he's like, yeah. When I was talking to him, he's like, I met him. We've met a few times. He's a friend of mine. He's just like, hey man, if you want any Suns game, let me know. I'll get you at my price, not the resale price that I sell them for. And I go, bro, before you even say that, I'm not even gonna take it. Like I would be robbing you if I did that. And he's like, yeah, hold up. He's thinking about it. I'm like, that's Katie and Booker coming to LA. And he's like, yeah, and it's opening night. He's like, yeah, I can't do that one. I can't do that one for you. And he's like, but think of another game and I could do it. And I'm like, you know what? I would want to go to a Brooklyn game. Yeah. I would love to go to a Brooklyn game, see the Twins. That's why I need to get maybe a Mikal or Cam jersey for that game and sit over there. But
that'd be dope. Yeah, I'll probably hit up a Brooklyn game out here too. I'm definitely doing opening night. When the Lakers come to town, I'm like, I'll probably go and see that game, and then I'm gonna try to go to as many games as I can this season because I really couldn't last season just because of my work schedule. But I'm really gonna try to hit it hard this year because hey, this might be the team that does it. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, let's go ahead and close it out. Again, it was great talking to you, Amit, and I will figure out this anchor shit so we can get these podcasts up. But if anybody that watched the show, thank you for tuning in. And
like and subscribe, share it out.
Subscribe. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, do all that. Follow Amit, Sustainable Amit. Follow me at Jay Joyce. Follow Evan at Coach Evan B on Twitter. And then, subscribe to the He's on Fire podcast and all that good stuff. And check out Arizona Sports Underground and look at the Cardinal Rule and all that stuff. Joe does great work there and a lot more in-depth analysis on the Arizona Cardinals. Cool. So thank you for everybody that joined. And shout out to Evan with his new daughter. And I can't wait to see that little baby of his, So
yeah.
Have a good night, Ahmed. Have a good night, rest of America. And go Cardinals, go Suns.